Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague. With me, like always, is the man who has not been fired, Noah Bailey.
Oh boy, here we go.
So this has potential to be a pretty long episode. We haven't met in the past couple of weeks, and things decided to happen in the last couple of weeks. Many
Ain't gonna
trailers,
happen.
many events, just stuff. But I think the most important thing we need to cover first is the fact that Jonathan Majors has officially been fired from Marvel. It
It's happened
finally happened.
officially now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, he was deemed guilty on two
hmm
third-degree assault charges, um, and like within minutes of that announcement, Marvel was like, "No, we're not working with them anymore." Uh,
Yeah, I mean, you can't really. I mean, yeah, you can't really work around that.
like, but if you think about it, in a way, completely unintentionally, Marvel wrote themselves into a way where they could perfectly just move on from the character. Because Ant Man,
You, hmm
he died at the end. You could just pretend the after credit scene didn't happen.
hmm
Um, at the end of Loki, they have this whole task force dedicated to stopping He Who Remains variants,
hmm
and he was never mentioned in any other multiverse story so far. He might pop up somewhere in What If next week, but like as far as like actual appearances, none other that we know of.
Yeah,
So you could
I
just kind
mean,
of assume that the time variant or the
yeah,
TVA takes care of it.
right. And again, it's like as especially with how Loki season two ended, it's very easy that Loki just kind of fixed him out of the timeline, I guess, or at
Yeah.
least prevented him from he and his variants from wandering in the timeline somehow. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's at a point where you could definitely work it out that way
Yes.
and then shift to a different main villain.
Mm-hmm. Although I do think if they still wanted to go with the character, they very easily could. Like, it hasn't happened super recently, but like Marvel has recasted people before, even big roles
Hmm.
like the guy who mocapped Thanos at the end of the first Avengers. He then changed to Josh Brolin later. Um, they even recast Red Skull for Infinity War. Like those weren't big roles that like it really mattered if you got the original person or if that changed. But like the point is you could do it if you still wanted to do Kang stuff. And like if Moon Knight season 2 happened, they might want to get the guy who's the King variant who's a pharaoh in there. It's rumored that he might show up somewhere in Deadpool 3, or like other there's other things throughout that would make sense for him to show up in some capacity if they still wanted to use that character with a different actor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing too is like it is tough when your entire, phase is based around a certain character to be that antagonist and then obviously for reasons outside of,
Mm-hmm.
the screen, that character is taken away. So it's kind of like they are in a position to pivot, which is rare because again, had this been like, I think Thanos, like, if this was like 2016 and all of a sudden Josh Brolin can't be used anymore, it's kind of like, ooh, where do we go from
Yeah,
here?
but see, I
But
think that's actually not even really the same thing because Thanos is
right,
completely CG. So if they just
that's a
get
good
someone who
point.
sounds kind of similar, like you just
You can
mocap, it
kind of
doesn't.
play it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I guess the thing, like the whole variant thing, they could potentially play it off because there's two ways. Because it's like, well, for one, because it's kind of like the Sylvie thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she's technically a Loki, so I guess you could technically have a Kang that's like not him, no,
Yeah,
not Jonathan
and
Majors,
every
potentially.
Loki variant look completely different.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like maybe that could work somehow,
Yeah.
or again, you could just kind of. I mean, the way I think they're going to go about it is just oh, we fixed the multiverse. Kang's not a problem anymore. And
Right.
then, yeah.
It does help that Avengers 5 and 6 have not been completed, like not even like started filming
Hmm.
yet. The scripts still are being written.
Definitely.
And it has, and the title for Kang Dynasty has internally been changed to just Avengers 5, which then makes me think that they're pivoting more to a Secret Wars Part 1 and Part 2 thing,
Would still
which
be awesome.
always should have been the case. I don't know why they, like, Secret Wars should be a 2-part event. Not that people wouldn't care about Kang Dynasty, but I just feel like if you're gunning towards Secret Wars, and they were originally stupidly planning to be in the same year anyway, just call them Secret Wars Part 1 and 2.
Mm.
Yeah. So, like, and considering, they are doing Fantastic Four soon, you could very easily just pivot to Doctor Doom, just kind of taking that role
100%.
again if they wanted to. If they don't want to use Kang, fine, but Doctor Doom feels like he's primed to slot in there.
Yeah, and I think the thing too is like, yeah, I think they're definitely like, all right, quickly, I don't think anyone's gonna necessarily be upset about that because Doom one A is such a beloved character, and two, it's like not only is this a chance to get the Fantastic Four right, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously you get Doom right. Doom can be an everybody problem,
Yeah.
and we're back on track
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
And you could even do a thing if you still didn't necessarily want uh, Avengers 5 to be directly tied to Secret Wars. I'm sure the original plan was to have King Dynasty lead somewhat into it, but like it wouldn't be a part 1-2 situation. You still could do like a Galactus for Avengers 5 since you are introducing Fantastic Four, assuming he's not in that movie, which there's rumors he might be, but I kind of hope that's not true. Um, you could have the Avengers come together to fight Galactus in Avengers 5, and then do Secret War stuff, especially with
Mm-hmm.
Eternals still kicking around. I feel like that should be relevant, relevant to future MCU stuff, and Galactus feels right in that space. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're in an interesting spot here, but I think they definitely could. Yeah, I could easily pivot this off because again, obviously people are going to be forgiving with unforeseen, well, yeah, unforeseen circumstances. So
Yeah, it just does really suck that Jonathan Majors he was on the top of the world back at the beginning of this year. You
mhm.
big role in Ant-Man, Creed 3, one or two other
Yeah,
projects like and now, you know, mere months after that, just
it's done.
yeah, you're done. Like
I mean, he might get back into the acting world later, but I don't know
after
how
people
that.
forget somehow.
Yeah, I mean, being famous and or rich does generally have the ability to make things work out
Mm.
better than normal, but we'll have to see.
Like there definitely have been actors that have had scandals and been able to come back from them. Like I feel Mel Gibson's a pretty big, a pretty big what's the word example of that.
Yeah,
Like, but I don't know. Well, we'll see. At least as of right now, he's not going to be doing Marvel stuff. So
right.
yeah, it has been a little annoying online seeing a lot of people like as soon as that dropped, be like, oh, we'll just like they should just use this other black person, or they should just do this other person. Like, I don't know. This feels like a little disingenuous to be like, John Boyega, you should be king. He's like,
Yeah,
no,
I saw
I
that.
don't want
Yeah.
to. I don't know. Just something about that feels a little weird to me. That being said, I feel like if he weren't already in the first Black Panther movie, I think Sterling K. Brown would be a fantastic Kang.
Mm,
Maybe it's just the fact
mm.
that he plays a similar role in Invincible, but
Yeah. I mean,
still.
I think he's one of those people who has a very made for entertainment voice.
Mm,
in both in voice acting and in live action. So I mean that what he does. Yeah, I mean, it's a very distinguished. It almost sounds like a because even in that there's like a bunch of stuff where I've heard and I'm just like that just sounds so
Yeah,
like
he's in the best episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of. Yeah, like what he's the like dentist guy who
Mm-hmm.
killed the guy or
Yeah.
something, and like he sounds so like calculatingly evil. He's almost
Mm-hmm.
got that like Lex Luthor to him.
Yeah. So, but he was already Killmonger's dad, so that's
Right,
unhappy.
you
But
can't use that again.
yeah, and I wouldn't accept him. Oh, he was just a Kang variant. No, shut up. That's no. No, we're not doing that.
No, we're not doing. That's the easy way
uh,
out.
but, but yeah, well, Avengers 5 was supposed to be starting filming sometime next year. We'll see if that still happens. I doubt it at this point, considering it still doesn't. It's still questionable if it even has a director or writer at this point because the original director they had tapped to do it stepped back to instead direct Shang-Chi 2 and one or two other projects as well. So like doesn't currently have a director. It was rumored that Michael Waldron would come back to play to write it, but people don't necessarily love what he did with Doctor Strange 2, but that wasn't necessarily his fault because that movie had a lot of turmoil inside anyway. I think the movie will be fine. We just need a little more information on what exactly it will be going forward. So, yeah.
I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. Moving on to another, I'll say controversial Marvel thing that happened yesterday at the time of this recording. So,
Oh boy.
Insomniac had recently gotten hacked, and a lot of internal information got spread about like even like individual people's information, game budgets, like leaked assets, like unused assets from Spider-Man 2. But the most, but like I feel the thing that was most prescient, like the most like I guess newsworthy, was very, very, very early development. Like I need to stress how early this development is, how early development this game is. Very, very early development assets of the Wolverine game were leaked online. And again, I feel it needs to be said again. This was not meant to be seen by the public. This is like this Spider-Man 2, that game went gold 3 months ago. Like this has barely started development. Don't even know why they announced it when they did, but whatever.
Extra hype, just cause.
Sure. But so I've seen so many people online complaining about how bad this game looks, about how it's just an asset flip from Spider-Man. The combat looks just like Spider-Man. All these mechanics look just like Spider-Man, but like it's not even close to done yet. What are you doing?
Also, is that bad?
Right? Like
I mean, not that I want him to be like, swinging, but I mean, I feel like the combat from Spider-Man's basically Batman Arkham with extra flips.
Yeah.
So, and everyone loves that.
Like,
so I feel like this would be the same thing, just with more stabbing and claws. So,
like the main things I saw people complaining about were the fact that like Wolverine climbing up a wall looked a little similar to Spider-Man, even though Wolverine like he can climb like with his claws. That's a thing he's always been able to do. And also, this pre-alpha footage showed him having some kind of like detective vision, like not spider sense, but like the thing where he was like he walks into a room and like he can kind of like use his sense of smell to like
but that's a thing Wolverine does though. That's an actual that's a power. Like he's done that in multiple iterations of the character, and that's like a main power. He like sniffs that's like a Wolverine thing. Like I remember like every Wolverine show I've ever seen, he like walks, he's like something's not right, and then he like they'll Sabretooth
Exactly.
bust out or something and they start going at
Yeah,
it.
it
Like,
wasn't really used in the Wolverine or the X Men movies outside of the first one very much, but like that's a thing he can do. But people complaining that it's so similar to Spider Man when like yeah, it's going to be running on the same engine, and in order, it just this is how games are made. If you're in the same a game made by the same studio, more often than not, unless they're using a completely new engine with a completely new just everything, they're going to at least do tests in something that already works just to make sure that new stuff like can be worked in like works with the engine that already exists.
yeah,
And
especially if it's based on a game that's also a superhero game
mhm.
that's also been super successful and that just came out.
Yeah, and the people that aren't complaining about being just like Spider-Man are saying that it looks too similar to Uncharted and God of War. But like those are some of the greatest games ever made. So what are you doing?
Oh, I mean,
It's a third person action game. Of course it's gonna look like other action games.
well, I mean, it's like especially if it's like how like all the biggest like Sony games and like all the biggest like Xbox, PlayStation games, they all kind of look the same. Like you
That's
can argue that like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider Man, like all these
mm-hmm,
games are basically the same kind of game as far as like here's a vast world in front of you,
mm-hmm.
go. Like
Yeah,
that's kind of just how that's what games are. That's where we're at right now.
yeah. Like that's why I find it kind of funny when there's like how the Game Awards differentiates between action game, RPG,
Right.
action adventure. It's like what these are all the same game now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course, a game made by Sony is going to take inspiration from other Sony games. Of course, a game made by Insomniac is going to take inspiration from games they've already made. But also, regardless of any of that, the game's not out yet. Not even, the first trailer hasn't been shown. We weren't supposed to see any of this. We don't like this this shouldn't even exist as far as you know like that. A very similar thing happened with Grand Theft Auto 6 last year. It got like early footage got leaked, and people said the same thing. Where like this looks bad. How like the polygons look off. The reflections like yeah because it's not done yet. Like what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't totally get it either because it's just kind of like, guys, I don't think it really like. First of all, like you said, it's not gonna be ready to go for years. So
Mm-hmm.
like, chill out.
Yeah.
Second of all, by the time it comes out, it's gonna look great. It's gonna be exactly what you want. It's gonna make you feel like you're Wolverine playing a game, just like Spider Man makes you feel like
Mm-hmm.
being Spider Man. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Like
Don't people are just complaining because there's nothing else to do.
yeah. Like, people are complaining that there's not enough blood. There's no decapitations. He can't like be as brutal. Like they haven't made those parts yet.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't done it yet because it's not done. Like, uh, I don't know. I just the whole internet culture in general has just primed us to just be so quick with judgment about every little thing, about every single thing that exists. Like I know we mentioned before, but you every single piece of media has to be either the best thing or worst thing ever, even if it's something that's literally not done yet. like,
Yes.
like you see a trailer for things like, oh, this is going to be the greatest game ever, or this it looks like the worst game ever. It's like they could make it the way video game trailers especially are made now that could not be what the game looks like. So you don't know, you can't judge it yet.
Right.
I don't know, I just that annoys me. I wish that all the people affected at Insomniac are I hope, because like I said, personal information got leaked, so hopefully nothing bad like happens to them. um, I there seems to be a trend recently with big companies like that getting leaked. Sony gets hacked all the time. Rocksteady got leaked last week. We'll talk about that in just a second. Even Rockstar got leaked. Like I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I just know that it is a current problem that someone needs to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the leakage, but at the same time, I don't think people should be flipping out either because it's like, guys, I don't think it's that serious.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I do take a little more seriously is the fact that I think that Suicide Squad video game looks like absolute trash. I know what I just said, but I think that Suicide Squad game is not going to be very good.
No, but this is based on stuff that's actually come out and that we've actually like seen. Like this is officially like through.
Yeah.
And again, it looks like I said kind of say it looks kind of like Overwatch mixed with I don't even know. I don't know. It does not look like anything like a game you would
Like
expect.
at every single level of this game's existence is just a big question mark for me. Like first of all, this game has been in develop or that was announced in like 2020, I think, to come out in 2022. That's fine. Games get announced way early all the time. Cool. I didn't think the concept was that great when it was first announced either. But Rocksteady, I don't think they made a bad game. People don't love Arkham Knight, but I think it's still a solid video game. So maybe they'll surprise me. And then it was revealed that the concept is that you're killing the Justice League, not the Justice Lords, the Justice League, who are controlled by Brainiac. So Amanda Waller wants them dead. Okay, that seems a little above their pay grade.
And they're especially with this group. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like it's like a all-star. It's literally like, all right, to be the entire main cast of the Justice League, we've got Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark. I'm like, okay, so one person who has powers.
Yes.
And
Three
as
people
far
that
as
can
powers
shoot good.
goes, as far as powers goes, nowhere near where any of the league
He
is.
can maybe take one or two punches from Superman. Like that's
no. I mean, not brainwash Superman.
No.
Like Superman holding back, sure. Brainwash Superman doesn't care if he accidentally puts you in a crater. Probably not.
Uh-huh. And just again, from a concept perspective, how the heck do you have a Suicide Squad video game where there's only 4 playable characters?
Terrible.
There's no. The point of Suicide Squad is you never know who's gonna get out of this alive. Like,
I feel that should be a game concept. You should start with the whole team, and as the game goes along, if you lose somebody, you lose somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Like
that'd be kind of cool.
But no, only 4 people, and maybe I have a feeling there's gonna be a secret 5th character who, like, at the very, very beginning of the game is with the team, and then they get wasted right at the beginning. That's probably gonna happen.
Probably.
But that still doesn't add stake to the actual gameplay. And part of the reason why they can't kill anybody is because this game has a leveling system where, like, as you play, you gain points to get more weapons and stuff. What is, yeah. Captain Boomerang uses a gun. Why is Boomerang using a gun? That's okay. Like, okay.
Right? I mean, this is ending up kind of feeling exactly how that whole Gotham Knights thing went, where it's like, oh man, this is a great idea. And then as more is revealed about it, you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Wait a minute. Now what?
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
And like some people are like after the like I said, Rocksteady got leaked, got hacked, and the plot for this game got leaked. I haven't seen the entire thing, but spoilers, they kill the Justice League because that's the name of the game. I don't know to what extent, like how and in what order, or or if they kill all of them, but I know at least like they do kill at least some of the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are like, why are you complaining? That's literally the name of the game. First, it's a dumb concept. They shouldn't do it. But second, like, this game is apparently set in the Arkham universe, and you expect me to just accept that these people who Batman take down on a daily basis have even a chance of killing him? No, I don't. No. I don't like that. I don't care if there's potentially going to be some, like, there's at least rumors of some kind of multiverse shenanigans going on that might reset stuff. But like, I don't want that either. Just I don't know. And,
Yeah. I mean, and it's annoying too because it's just kind of like, really, this is the like again, Rocksteady. You have made some amazing stuff with these Batman games, and now we're back in the same universe. And where did this come from? What
right?
is this? What am I looking at? Where
Right?
did you get? Who told you to do this? This looks terrible.
Yeah. Like
I know it's been a while, but geez.
I I don't know how you make a game like this and not at some point during development pivot to like, hey, how about we just make a Justice League game, or just Superman, or just Wonder Woman, or whoever, or make a completely different Suicide Squad game. I feel like this
Or
is
just
yeah.
I was like, originally I would have thought make another Batman Arkham game, but then just have the Justice League around occasionally, so you could have,
Yeah.
I don't know, like a Justice League, like Batman Arkham World or something. It's just like
Mhm.
again, like a Brainiac thing where you have to go do maybe Justice League mission. I mean, you can always be Batman, but I
Mhm.
don't know. I just
Like I mean, I've as soon as the initial poster was announced, where there was a target on Superman's back, I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if the Suicide Squad's whole mission was to go into the Forces of Solitude to get some information that Waller wants from the Forces of Solitude, and like as you're going, you fight the Superman robots, you fight like you can like other security systems with like random aliens he has in captivity. Like there are, or even just Superman can show up at any time. You have to hide or whatever. Like I feel there are so many other ways to do this concept where you can still have them fight at least some other superhero if you want that, but not the entire Justice League against Brainiac. Like, is this game gonna end with them killing Brainiac? That seems way even higher above their pay grade. Like,
I mean, if they somehow beat the entire Justice League, the Brainiac thing doesn't seem that impossible, but it's like, again, you should not be able to beat the entire Justice League.
yeah, yep, yeah. And the last straw for me with this game, before these leaks even happened, was at the Game Awards. They had a new trailer for this game, and it was just kind of more of the same, even though they said they would take this past year to make it better, and they didn't do that. It was supposed to come out last May. Like it was like May 20th of this year or something. And yeah, they didn't do that because they said they're gonna delay it almost a year for polish and to make it a better game. I don't think it's gonna be a better game.
I mean, I don't think the polish is the issue. I think the concept and the entire game design is the problem, which
Yeah.
I don't think you can fix that unless you just start from scratch.
In one of these trailers, they said with a straight face, they said
Oh.
Captain Boomerang's main arsenal of SMGs, shotguns, and sniper rifles. Like, Captain Boomerang doesn't use a shotgun. What are you doing?
What's wrong with this picture?
There's Harley Quinn. Sure, she can have a shotgun. That's fine. Deadshot,
You
definitely. Even King Shark, I'd accept holding a shotgun. That's cool.
no, no. Why does no?
No, he shouldn't.
Why does
Absolutely not. But like,
why does like the only person who should have a firearm is Deadshot. Harley Quinn, in my opinion, should have like a mallet or a baseball bat or something,
or have like
and
Joker,
maybe some
like
yeah, some like
bombs
Joker
and
toxin darts or something for
yeah,
like distance. But like you don't need like a gun really, unless it's like one of those like one of those like POW guns, and then it like actually shoots them or
yeah,
something. I don't know. But like, yeah, I mean, King Shark having a gun makes no sense. I mean, that kind of defeats
yeah.
the point of being. That just kind of makes King Shark a big goon. I feel like the part of what part does King Shark use? Well, maybe the shark part. I would assuming that was his main weapon,
Yeah,
being a shark.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's like giving Wonder Woman a gun. It's like why?
Why? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
still coming out in February.
Whoa!
So
Won't be buying that.
definitely not something to get a PS5 for.
Nope.
Okay. Anyway.
Moving right along.
Um, so last little bit of DC news as of right now. Um, we talked briefly last episode about how that Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 trailer didn't look amazing. And after that, they went ahead and announced that after Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3, it will be a three-parter, that'll be the end of the Tomorrowverse, which is fine with me.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
They made two good movies, and then they stopped doing that.
Yeah, I mean, and they just weirdly just kind of completely changed everything. It was just kind of like, all right, here we go. Here's like, yeah, here's Superman. Okay, Superman origin, not bad. Batman movie. Okay, cool, not bad. Okay. Okay, wait, what? Huh? Wait, how did we get? What? Where? Who are these people?
Yep.
And we're doing Crisis. I can't even do. I'm like, I won't even be able to tell which ones are the alternate versions because I don't even know the regular versions of the characters.
Right?
Yet.
Like, well, we have like there's only 6 of these movies. Yeah, the Justice Society, World War II, Man of Tomorrow. I'll count Long Halloween as 2 just to give it to him.
No,
The Green Lantern one, which is terrible.
Terrible.
The War World one, which is also not great.
No.
The Legion of Superheroes one, which is also not good.
Yeah, kind of. But again, that was where it really went off the rails.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere.
The first time Batman and Superman are talking is when the movie where you introduce the Legion of Superheroes. Like, what is
right?
What are we doing?
And they're not even in the movie, really. I mean, Batman and Superman. I think Batman has 2 lines.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even like. I don't know what they were. I don't know what they were doing there. It just kind of none of it made sense.
Yeah. So liberally, we have 7 movies. Is that it?
I mean, I guess technically, but I mean, it's like 5.
Right. Like we never got a Wonder Woman standalone. I guess the Legion of Superheroes thing was kind of Wonder Woman focused. Sorry, not the
World
Justice
thing.
Society. Yeah.
But not really though.
Yeah.
The Justice Society one was more of a Flash movie than anything.
Yeah.
And then, which is fine. And then like the World thing. I mean, I don't even really count it because they weren't even like their normal selves, so there's no really thing to contrast it with.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with that. It looks so promising with Man of Tomorrow, and then it honestly was a kind of a weird choice to introduce your Batman with a direct adaptation of like basically a one-to-one adaptation of Long Halloween in this new animated universe. and then
Mhm.
kind of stop doing those kinds of movies in this universe, but then also do. That's always a thing DC animated movies have been a little bad at doing, where it's like they have this, sequential universe of animated movies going, and they also have like these one-off, like like a Under the Red Hood or a Killing Joke or that type of thing. But then Death of Superman is a part of the main universe. Like we're doing that basically beat for beat. But I don't know. They could have. I don't know.
Ah,
I like the long Halloween movies, but it just felt a little incongruous to do it just this one time and then not do that again.
yeah, I mean it. I don't know what they were really doing with that universe. I think they kind of just started thinking they were just going to make movies, and then they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"No, we need them to work together now." And it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, but
It's a little sad because
eh,
I like most of the actors. Jensen Ackles, I think, does a great
yeah,
Batman.
great
The
Batman.
guy who played Superman, Luthor, Lois Lane was great. Wonder Woman's okay. Like a lot of the actors are really good. Like pretty good adaptations of those characters,
Hmm.
but they've never really got a chance to really do anything.
Right.
Yeah. So,
But I don't know. Maybe they'll give it some time and they'll make a new one. Which,
yep. I know. I'm sure James Gunn is cooking all kinds of crazy ideas for what he wants in all of aspects of, because he said he wants, essentially he wants actors who can play both live action and animation.
oh,
So like it might be his mandate to go ahead and kill this universe and then start a new one, which I'm I'm okay with that. I think if it's done well enough.
I mean, is that really necessary? Do you feel
No,
like? I mean, especially animation wise, because it's like I don't think anyone's really putting two and two together anyway.
no, no. That's true. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's not
Yeah.
necessary, but
I mean, then again, it wouldn't be the first time live action has inhibited animation for DC for so many reasons, so many stupid reasons. But
this will stop all the really dumb fan casts of people wanting Jensen Ackles to play Batman in live action and then only ever using pictures of him from 10 years ago. It's like this, he would be perfect. Like that's
he looks perfect. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
2010,
when he
that'd
was
be
still on
great.
Supernatural, like that's sure that could be Batman and like he plays Soldier Boy in The Boys. He plays like he was really good as a
Mm,
kind of older superhero then. So like, by the time James Gunn gets around to actually making a Batman movie, it'll be like 2026. It'll be in his 50s, and it's
right.
just I don't know. I don't like that.
I guess we'll have to see.
But anyway, um, moving on to some more Disney news. Um, what's first here? Okay, we'll start with the Spider-Man Freshman Year animated show that was announced like 2 years ago. You remember
Hmm.
that? Yeah.
I do remember that.
It has officially been renamed to just Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man,
Okay.
which which kind of signals to me that it's probably because the original intent was for it to essentially be an origin for Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Hmm.
This signals to me that it's no longer like set loosely in the MCU. It's just going to be its own thing, which is good. I think that's fine.
Yeah, changing directions.
Yeah, because I the most recent Spider-Man show that Marvel tried to make was um
Marvel Spider-Man.
yeah, Marvel Spider-Man back in 2017. What's a good word that's not too harsh? Um
Not great.
no, bad's not good enough. Atrocious isn't good enough.
Oh,
It's embarrassing. I'll say that. It is embarrassing. Every single character is the most annoying that character has ever been. Like, just the animation style was not good. They did the classic thing where like where they knew they wanted to do Venom, but they just like, I think the Black Suit arc was 2 episodes. I'm pretty sure it was only 2 episodes, and then all of a sudden Venom's here, which completely misses the point of the original intent of the Black Suit, but whatever. So it's one of those things where at every single level, like nearly every single thing was just questionable at best. So if they could make, a new good Spider-Man show, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, there are already some really good ones out there, but yeah, I think a good one every now and again is needed because although the movies are pretty solid too, it's like
Yeah, it just is kind of at that point where, like with Ultimate also not being the best, it's not terrible. It just has this.
It just doesn't feel like Spider-Man.
Yeah, it just has this stink on it where like, this it only exists because they canceled Spectacular, and Spectacular
Yes.
is rightfully spectacular, and it just like
That's that show.
and because Ultimate is like, it's not even that bad. It's just not good enough to be. I think I watched like 12 episodes and then just dipped. I just didn't care to watch more of this Spider-Man. Whereas Spectacular, we binged that in like a couple of weeks. It's great.
The show's awesome.
Yeah.
And the way it ends on a cliffhanger kills me.
Yes. Yeah. I think the freshman year, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is scheduled to first come out in 2025. I think it was still a little ways out, but take your time. That's fine. Next up, it was announced that the Pixar movies Luca, Soul, and Turning Red will be releasing in theaters in early 2024.
Huh? So they get their theater debuts, I guess?
Yeah. I think I didn't write down the dates. I think Soul is going to be in January, Turning Red's February, and Luca's March.
Okay. I guess.
I mean, these
Soul's
movies,
pretty good.
it was probably a thing. I will say, I feel like this is a situation where, like, this is a good idea because these movies have currently made zero money for Disney because they've just released on Disney Plus, to much fanfare, but still, like, they didn't get any real revenue from that. I don't think anyone subscribed just to watch Luca is good, but no one subscribed just to watch Luca.
Right.
So I feel it's a good idea to have, to show these movies in theaters, but I also feel like doing them back to back like that, I don't know. I feel like they're gonna kind of get drained in a lot of. Like, there's gonna be at least some movies released in the first couple of months. I know Madam Web, I guess, is coming out in February. Dune and now
Is it though?
Yeah, I guess. Dune and Kung Fu Panda 4, which we'll talk about in just seconds, coming out in March.
Oh yeah.
Like, I feel you could have peppered them out like kind of throughout the year. Like, I feel Luca, that is a summer movie that should have been released in like June or something. Although I have Inside Out 2 coming out in June, so I guess that would be the best idea. But they could figure it out. they could figure it out. Like, I don't know. I just feel like back to back to back like that might not. They just might not get as. I just hope what they're hoping for happens with these movies, even if it's like very low expectations. I hope it at least meets that. So, because I haven't seen Turning Red, but Soul and Luca are very, very good. They are worth your time to go to theaters if you haven't seen them. Even if you had, just watching theaters, it's a fun time. Yeah.
Interesting.
Especially since I feel like Luca and Soul specifically like
suffered way more than they should have.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the fact that Lightyear got a big
Forgot
screen
about
experience, but Luca, this beautiful coming of age story that's like it's just like that. I feel deserved to be seen by people deserve to pay to see that movie. This
Mm.
might be a little backwards, but I don't know. I feel like maybe more people technically may have seen it because it was free on Disney Plus, but I feel like I don't know because it was just released on Disney Plus. It kind of has this feeling of it not being a real movie like these others are, when it is definitely more of a real movie than Lightyear is. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. The like how it's decided what movies really get the attention of theaters and which don't is always so interesting.
Right.
It's just kind of like,
Like how did Raya and the Last Dragon be one of those $30 to rent movies, but Luca and Sola?
yeah,
That's the problem. I don't like that.
yeah. Because again, that movie's not terrible, but I don't think anyone's gonna be like, yeah, this one's way better.
hmm Oh no, but I'm definitely gonna pay $30 to watch Cruella. Ooh, that was not good.
Man, listen.
Emma Stone, I like you, but you need a better agent.
I mean, that was of all those movies where you just felt bad for like the movie because you're just like, I don't know who wrote you, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, I highly recommend watching at least at least two of these. Again, I haven't seen Turning Red. I can't vouch for it, but at least Luca and Soul I highly recommend watching in theaters. Or at some point, if you wanted to watch on Disney Plus, if you haven't seen it, see the movies at some point. So,
Mm.
and speaking of movies that are coming out in March, Kung Fu Panda 4, which is the movie I didn't even know existed until that trailer came out.
Right?
Like I think it was announced at some point last year that it's happening, but I just was like,
Really?
maybe I don't. We never covered it.
Because
I never.
I was like, because I had like I thought it was fake. I legit thought it was one of those YouTube channels that like they just throw stuff and like
Mm,
oh, this will get clicks, and I was like, oh, that's not real. And then it was like, oh, nope, DreamWorks, this is real.
hmm um, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it when I actually watch it because the first three Kung Fu Panda movies are really good.
Oh yeah.
Like three is probably the my least favorite of the three, but it is still a very solid, very solid DreamWorks movie.
Mm.
I'm not 100% feeling this trailer as of right now. I don't know what it is about it. It's just something just doesn't grab me like I was hoping it would. Yeah, I get that feeling.
So I am also not huge on this trailer, and so here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
They immediately like, oh, Tylog's back,
Yeah,
and immediately in the trailer,
yeah,
just yeah, it's not really him. They're just using him to take his stuff, and it's gonna be this like I don't know. It feels like it's really gonna be they're trying to really push these new characters, and it
mm-hmm.
feels like like again, obviously the Furious Five was originally voiced by some very famous people, so it kind of makes sense. You can't
Yeah.
get everyone back, but at the same time, it's like I feel like you could revoice them pretty easily because it's been long enough. I don't think everyone remembers that Jackie Chan plays Monkey. You know what I mean?
Uh,
So it's like so I feel like instead they're just kind of moving a lot of the characters to the side and kind of really forcing new characters, which can go one of two ways and usually doesn't go super well.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, like
uh,
I feel like I don't have an exact number, so I'll speak. I feel like I have a couple of minor issues with the trailer. First, I don't love the idea that Poe all of a sudden has to pick a new Dragon Warrior. Like
yeah,
he's not
why?
going anywhere. Like why is Shifu all of a sudden decide it's time for him to go? Like that's like not it's not a thing where he's like it's time for you to start your own dojo or go out on your own. No, you need to pick a successor now.
Successor
That's
because
because that's there's no prophecy. There's like as far as I know, there's no like I don't know.
reason.
Reason you just it's your time. Like what? Just because.
Because
Two, yeah. Why aren't the Furious Five in this trailer? They
like
confirmed
at
it.
all. I mean,
They confirmed they'll be
yeah,
in the movie, but not in the trailers. Like that's a little weird. Um,
yeah. I don't love that either because it's kind of just like it's like it kind of gives you the idea that we're really just gonna kind of pretend they're not here, kind of
mhm.
thing. Like it's like they feel like if they are in the movie, they're gonna be very ignored,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like I don't love that.
Mhm.
Also, the villain does not seem that interesting. And the thing is, that's saying a lot because Kung Fu Panda villains have been pretty epic
Mhm.
3 times in a row. And it's kind of like, oh no, I feel like this villain is not going to be of Kung Fu Panda standards, which
Right.
also does not
Like I love,
make this.
obviously I love Viola Davis. I think she's gonna kill it with what she's given. I like the
Yes.
idea of a No Way Home style, you know, like culmination of everything that Pose had to go through, essentially fighting the previous villains. That's cool. If they actually
Uh,
teamed up together, not her being able to transform into them. That's usually what I fear.
yeah, kind of ruins it.
Like,
And also, I feel like I don't get me wrong. I think the idea of like the chameleon and their power being what a chameleon does is a
mm-hmm.
cool concept. But again, I think that works better in tandem to the villains just kind of also just being there
Yeah,
versus just stealing everything from the villains feels kind of
yeah, I don't know. Also, I feel like the designs in general of the new characters just isn't DreamWorksy. It just feels, I don't know, like especially the Aquafina. What is she, a bunny? What is she,
something like that.
fox? But
Yeah, I
whatever.
think
I think she's a fox actually. Yeah, she
I'm
just
not.
doesn't.
I'm not sure.
She's too fluffy. Maybe I don't know. There's something about her faces doesn't
She
look.
looks off somehow.
Yeah, like I saw some people like try to redesign her and give her like more like angular features, like more designs. Like it's just very plain, and I feel like, especially Kung Fu Panda 2 had just every single character looked very distinct, very like purposeful. She just kind of, even though she's gonna be a main character, she just kind of there. I don't know.
Yeah, didn't look right.
Yeah, but again, the movie itself could surprise me. I just have nothing to like rave about it after watching this trailer.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, this is again. I think this trailer is very underwhelming, and again, I think coming out of nowhere didn't help. Just
Mm.
because, like, not that that's bad, but it just kind of. If I'm just randomly gonna see a Kung Fu Panda trailer, that kind of just feel like because it feels like it's been a while since Kung Fu Panda's done anything, and if we're gonna do it, I kind of want them to do it right. And my initial reaction being, instead of yay,
Right.
really worries me.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like, we'll see. It comes out in March, so that's another thing to watch in March along with Dune. So that's cool.
Should be a good one.
Yep. Yep.
We'll see.
Um, another thing to potentially look forward to next year, which again I don't know if this trailer necessarily like sold me 100%, but it's still probably going to be a fun time. Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire.
Mm.
It's gonna be so stupid yet a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, but like again, that's the formula. Like
Yeah.
that's what works. I mean, that's what we did last time, and that
Uh,
was great.
like,
I mean, we don't care about the only plot needs to be big monsters fighting. That's
yes.
the plot. We don't need story. We don't need background. We don't need the reason, their motivation. Who cares? It's a
Yeah.
giant monkey. We don't need motivations.
I
Like
do kind of feel like the thing that kind of brings me down a little bit is the fact that the villain is just another big monkey. That I feel like, why can't Kong just take him out. Like Kong
I
can't do
mean,
this by himself. Luckily, he'll have help. And then Godzilla shows like, I don't know, like how is this monkey so powerful that it takes Kong and Godzilla together to take him out?
yeah, but I guess you could kind of say the same thing about Mecha Godzilla in the last movie though.
Well,
'Cause it's
that
like I
shouldn't have
feel
been
like
there. So
yeah, that's true, but I don't know.
it's also funny that this movie is called Godzilla X Kong, yet it is clearly a Kong movie, and Godzilla is also there. Because like the first half of this trailer is about, you know, King Kong just chilling in his little pocket inner Earth thing, and then this other big monkey who is clearly his villain showing up, and then the trailer deciding, oh wait, he can't beat him by himself, so Godzilla's got to be here, and then
It's like why?
yeah,
Because
because he's purple now. Oh well.
he's purple.
I
You
do
gotta
I
deal
do
with it.
kind of agree with some people complaining that the scale of the movie feels a lot smaller than others, but that's really because this trailer de-emphasized the human element of it, which again, perfectly fine. If this movie had almost no
Yeah.
human characters, that's great.
I mean, the only, again, like I said, with these kind of movies, the only human line should be ah. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh
we're not here for the
no.
people. Like, yeah, like they only, like we're not here for the plot of the humans' motivations, and
Yeah,
we gotta take back our planet. Like, your planet's gone, bro. Like,
yeah.
it's over.
Yeah, so like it's just gonna be a lot of fun watching Godzilla and King Kong beat up another big gorilla. Like,
Oh yeah.
if anyone legitimately goes into this movie and comes out and is like critiquing it like they would other movies, I feel like
You know they
you're
will.
watching the wrong movie. I don't
But you
know.
know that somebody's gonna do that. Like I didn't feel the motivations of Kong, or I didn't.
Who
It
cares?
felt that, like, dude, but you know how people are,
Yeah,
man. Like they're gonna do something stupid. Like you're just
yeah.
like, dude, like why? Do we really care? Like,
I don't think you should.
no, no, you definitely
No.
shouldn't. But people are gonna people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I think that's coming out in April. I think, but regardless, coming out next year. If it's at least half as good as Godzilla versus Kong, you
which
know,
it should be.
should be. Which that movie isn't great, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great turn your brain off movie, and I think that's what it really needs to
Oh yeah,
be.
absolutely. Okay. Moving on to kind of the last topic. This is kind of come in two pairs, or like a
Okay.
two part. The first being that after several years of turmoil, of trying to make it happen, just not being able to make it happen, of management switching multiple times, it's just they finally decided that E3 is officially dead.
Like for good?
Yes,
Oh no. Oh well.
right.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
it,
It's like
I
it's
have
an end of an era, but it also makes sense because there's not really a reason to have it anymore.
yeah, like I have so many fond memories of E3s. You know, growing up, like the first one I really watched was 2012, and like I was purely a Nintendo guy growing up. Like I like I was always there for the Nintendo stuff, but I also it's still just fun watching the Microsoft and Sony conferences just to you know even though I wasn't personally excited, I still was able to get wrapped up in the hype of just these big trailers, and you you could kind of tell like as the years went on that even the major studios were kind of losing interest in the concept because
Hmm.
you know this kind of started with Nintendo in 2013 uh, not doing a live press conference, instead opting to do a Nintendo Direct presentation as their press conference.
Right.
They still were at the like E3 show floor with the game kiosks there, but they didn't have a big stage presence. and everyone called them idiots for doing that. It's like, oh, they're skipping E3, even though they're not. Like, they're not going to get the eyes they want on this thing. Like the Wii U is doomed because of this. It was doomed for other reasons, but that's a different discussion. And then it's very funny that, just a couple years later, Sony also dropped out,
Right. All of a sudden.
but still did digital press conferences very similar to how Nintendo was doing them.
And it worked out pretty well for them too.
Yeah, and then other companies also dropped out, and even like Square Enix has started doing their own little Nintendo Direct type things. Microsoft has their own thing, literally called Xbox Direct. They should get sued for that. Um, and then Jeff Keighley, who's been spearheading the Game Awards, he's been like in the gaming space for decades. Like he was one of the main people who was like he also helped out a lot to make E3 happen. He left, like he left the organization I think in 2019, and then he started his own summer game event in 2020. And Xbox just kind of joined that, and a bunch of other people just kind of joined that, and E3 will still be like, oh, we'll show up next year and blow you away, and then that didn't happen, and then Summer Game Fest happened again, and it wasn't like the same exact thing, but it's still pretty good. And now that everybody just does all digital presentation stuff now, E3 is just
what's
like,
the point of E3?
Point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, since everyone's gonna, yeah, it's kind of like, it's kind of like when everyone's doing their own thing. It's like, what's the point of even? It's like, what's the point of hosting having an open invitation if no one's gonna take it?
Right. Literally this year, I heard from an insider. Who was that? I believe it was some kind of big, like, gaming event thing. The GDC? I think it was GDC, the Game Developer Conference, back in like February. Like, this guy, he's a journalist, and he is there for journalist purposes. He said that he literally had people, like, from like Konami and not Konami, Capcom, and like from Ubisoft, like, asking him if he knew what was going on with E3 this year. And he's like, don't you know? Like, no, we don't know what's going on with E3, which is insane to him because these big companies...
You are E3.
Yeah, these big companies for decades, like, they budgeted their entire marketing campaigns around E3. So, like, going into the year, they already have most of the trailers ready to be played in June. So like in February, you still not even sure if it's happening. It's like, what? And then but I think by April they decided to cancel it outright, which is so weird. And then you're like, no.
At that point, but I mean, at that point, you kind of have to, because it's just kind of like, well, clearly no one's interested. This isn't working. So,
so it is sad. Like I said, just the vibes of E3 aren't really exactly there for any other like Summer Game Fest or the Game Awards or any given big event. Is just not the same. But there's a decent enough substitution, and I just feel like we're kind of in the digital era. Developers and dev teams and whatnot, are allowed to be more direct in a way that E3 is just no longer relevant. So, yeah. So, it's a little sad, but it was time.
Had to be done,
yeah. That being said, since we last met, the Game Awards did happen, and first I'm going to go over the games that I cared about. There were a ton of games announced, which was part of the problem of the overall event. We'll get to that in a second. There were a ton of games announced. I only cared about a couple of them, but the couple that I cared about were very exciting. First, and definitely the most shocking game, Arcane Studios is making a Blade game.
Yeah. Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, like Arcane, they made Dishonored, Prey. Like they make games that are
Blade,
exactly
yes.
what this game is. Like, yes, like they're one
Yeah.
of my roommate's favorite developers. Like, it's that's gonna be a good video game. um, yeah, it's. I don't know if because Arcane is at least owned by or they're owned by Bethesda, who's now owned by Microsoft. So I don't know if it'll be a first party Xbox exclusive, but if it is, they have Blade. Sony has Spider-Man, Wolverine.
Spider-Man.
So
Marvel wins
yeah,
regardless.
exactly. um, but yeah, Blade. That's a character you never even consider is going to have a video game at all, and is like the perfect developer making this fantastic. Next, Sega had this wild trailer for 5 different video games. This montage trailer for a new Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage.
Been busy.
It's not. It's like some people were speculating. Like, is this like some kind of mega game where like there's elements of each of them within the one game, or is it like a collection? No, it is new entries in each of these games going to be released sometime in the future. Like that is crazy. Like Golden Axe, I don't think there's been a new one since the Dreamcast. If even like, no, probably before then. Like it's one of those franchises, like one of those beat 'em up franchises that is do, been due for a new entry for 20 years now. So, like, yeah, that's really cool, and it's um, that's also good to know that Sega remembers that they know how to make games that aren't Sonic, because that's kind of a problem they've had the last couple of years. They have a ton of franchises under their belt, and they don't really use them, and now they said they will. So that's cool. And the last announcement was a new Monster Hunter game. Again, one of my roommate's favorite franchises. It looks good. So, yeah. Now, I need to remind you that this is called the Video Game Awards show.
Yep.
Man, it's always been a problem how these award shows are never actually about the awards. They're always about the game announcements and advertisements and celebrity cameos.
Mm-hmm.
But this year in particular was awful, was disrespectful, was particularly indicative of just every problem that people have been saying for years that Jeff Keighley just hasn't addressed, and I don't think ever will. For example, last year Game Awards, the guy that plays Kratos, I cannot Jeff. Oh no, something Christopher Judge. He went on a almost 8 minutes acceptance speech, which was hilarious. They had the playoff music playing him off for like 5 of those minutes. It was great. And he was the first presenter presenting the best basically the best voice actor role. And he even made a joke about how whoever wins can try to beat my record. Like they said you can do that. Literally 30 seconds into the guy that plays the main character from Baldur's Gate, as soon as he got up there, 30 seconds in they start playing him off. Like, what are you doing? like you can't have this meta joke about how the previous guy went on forever and then not let this winner talk at all? Like
Right.
apparently he said something extensive like at the end he said like I love you all as he walked away, but no one in the audience heard him because they cut his mic off before he was able to say that part. It's like you're not going to give time for the award winners to speak at all.
That's literally what it's for.
That's what this is for.
Why even invite them out?
Right? Well, that's another issue. Is this again another thing that just has always boggled me about these kinds of these events? Some awards will be given on the big stage, but others will just be basically a slideshow of random awards, and then just move right on without anyone actually coming up to accept it. And then really inconsistent about which awards do that. Like for some reason, like best fighting game, best RPG, best indie game. These are just in the random slideshow that you're just going to be like, and here are the awards. Sea of Stars won that. Moving on. Best fighting game, Street Fighter 1. Moving on. Like, what do you? What, do we really don't want to incentivize indie games in this day and age? Just like you're really gonna like brush right on past them, but then the best debut indie game gets like the big center stage presentation. That's weird. I don't know. That just rubbed me the wrong way. Like best action adventure, which is basically, basically the runner-up for game of the year. That got a big stage presentation. The best action game got just the rundown. Like I don't know. But they had plenty of time for Anthony Mackie and Shimu Liu to riff for a while. They had time for Matthew McConaughey to come out clearly high on that just talk about whatever. For like, I know these people are in the games; they're there to promote, but it's still weird how long they got to talk when the presentation, like the actual award winners, didn't get to speak at all.
Just throw them. Yeah, it's like I mean, I get Matthew McConaughey's Matthew McConaughey, but it's just like, dang,
right? And like, and especially when you actually have the ultimate winner, the Game of the Year award. Obviously went to Baldur's Gate. Everyone thought it would go to Baldur's Gate. That's fine. I wanted Zelda to win, and it wasn't going to happen. Whatever. So the people from Larian got up there to accept their speech, to accept their award, and you don't even let the guy that won Game of the Year speak for more than a minute before you start playing him off. Like what else, what do you have to cut to? What more? There are no more ads you need to show. There's no more like you're done. Like this is the last thing. Let him speak for an hour if you want to. People can shuffle out if they don't want to hear anymore. Like, but no, literally, like he started talking about how like he was appreciative of all the people who worked on this game, especially this one guy who died halfway through the development, and he was giving this heartfelt speech about how like he wished that guy was with us and like he really appreciated his hard work, and they were playing him off. They were doing the playoff music while he's saying that. It's like that's so disrespectful.
Respectful, like to a literal dead person.
Uh-huh.
But then Matthew McConaughey is just doing his thing.
Like. Again, Anthony Mackie literally doing crowd work. Dude, you were in the Twisted Metal show. You get off the stage. Like, what are you? I don't like I said, these issues have always been there with the Game Awards, and this is part of the reason why it is especially bittersweet that E3 is ending now, because now Jeff Keighley has basically a monopoly on this kind of, curated game announcement presentations, because he also does the Summer Game Fest, which is basically E3's like main replacement. And if I just feel like there's just something off about how I know that this kind of event wouldn't happen if he didn't personally fund it, along with all the the sponsors and other backers and whatnot. But I just really really hope he takes the criticism to heart this year about how ways he can improve it next time, which includes giving allowing more developers to actually accept their awards
Yeah.
within a reasonable.
And shout out to people who helped them get there, though, especially those who may not still be with us, because that's really not cool.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's it was a fun enough show to watch if you don't really think about the ramifications. Like you can get swept up in the announcements, and you get swept up in just in the celebrities that are there. Although that does kind of bring up another just kind of gripe I have with really the industry as a whole is the video game industry is the biggest media industry on the planet. It outgrosses movies, it outgrosses music. It is,
Really?
yeah, it is insanely huge. Yet for some reason, video game companies just feel like they need celebrities to be relevant when that's just not true. You don't need Matthew McConaughey. You don't need Shimulu to make your game, to make your game relevant. Like, and because the industry feels they need these people to help promote their game, these people then show up in spaces like this where I feel we should be focusing more on the developers and voice actors of the game that like have been in this space for decades. But yeah, oh well,
Or not.
or not, whatever. Yeah. Okay. I think that's everything I have to discuss. Do you feel like there's anything I missed or just want to bring up?
Um, did we already? No, I was like, we already talked about the trailers. I think so we talked about doing last time. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Oh, actually, I do have one more thing.
Oh,
Uh, it's customary that every time a new Pokemon thing comes out, at least talk about it for a while. Would you be okay with me to like take a 10 minutes?
oh,
Okay. So, the last DLC for Scarlet and Violet came out uh, last week,
okay.
and it was a lot of fun. So the like main crux of this DLC is essentially you are you're scouted by this other school from a different region called the Blueberry Academy to
Of
to
course.
be an exchange student over there at least for a little while and just to spice things up over there. Um,
Yeah.
and this school is actually set in Unova, which is the Gen 5 region, the black and white game region, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of like cool references to that region. Like there's one specific uh, island that's like a post game thing from Black and White 2 uh, that is like I think it's the thing where like if you complete the Pokedex, you can go to this island and catch a special Pokemon there. Um, and in this academy, which is built like under this big dome that has like four different regions of different that are different biomes. There's a bunch of different varieties of different Pokemon. In one of the regions, there's like a plateau area that is shaped exactly like that island from Black and White 2, which is very cool.
Hmm.
The music is very reminiscent of like almost exact like remixes of songs from those games. Again, very cool. Um, and they like when you get here, like the main objective at first is to fight the Blueberry Academy's Elite Four,
Mm.
which this DLC is specifically tailored to being post game content. You're supposed to beat
Mm-hmm.
everything in the main game and the DLC that came before this. So this is like they they made this
Hard.
intentionally hard, which is not a thing that Pokemon normally does. First, every single battle on in this area is a double battle.
Love it
Right?
already.
Exactly. Like just random trainers that you find around are double battles. Like they
Awesome.
have pretty much every single trainer has pairs of Pokemon that match well together. Like the very first trainer that I fought, um, she has a Plusle and a Minun who are both electric types who have abilities where if an electric move is used on them, they get like a special boost. Um, so like their strategy is they use a move called Discharge, which hurts everyone on the field, including a partner. But if they use it on,
Mm.
yeah, so
They
they'll,
get the bone. Oh, that's
yeah,
so
exactly.
smart.
And then once you take out one of them, she then throws out a Pokemon called Excadrill, which is a ground type, who still won't take damage from that move, which is
Mm.
very fun. And just throughout the entire region, I saw a bunch of different variants of that. If they don't have a thing where they go together, at least the individual Pokemon have good move sets. This one Pokemon whose new name is Smeargle, who essentially has this move where he can copy any other move and keep that move forever. Um, he um, this one random Smeargle I fought on this team. He has the strategy. There's this common strategy in Pokemon called a fear strat, which essentially the idea is you have a Rattata and you use the the item Focus Sash, which when you get hit, if you're at full health, you will never be knocked out. You always be left with one hit point.
Nice.
And then use the move Endeavor, which
Ooh.
makes it that your opponent's HP matches your HP. So you get hit, and then they go down to 1 HP. And then you use Quick
Ah.
Attack to kill them.
Because that's the fastest move in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
So,
smart, actually.
yeah. So I fought this Smeargle, who I did. I knew this Smeargle was gonna have something weird about it, so I focused down the other side
Hmm.
first, and then I attacked it, and it had a Focus Sash. It used Endeavor, and then it used the move Extreme Speed. It's like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, like that's what it's trying to do to you. And just stuff like that is peppered throughout the entire region. It's great, and even the Elite Four, again, very hard, very fun. Like if I wasn't already over leveled going in, just because you just play through the game, you get pretty high level. If I wasn't already kind of over leveled, they would have been a lot harder. But I'll admit, I lost to the first couple of Elite Four members I fought, like
Hmm.
once or twice each. By the time I got further, I was pretty darn strong and didn't lose after that. But still, like I could easily see a reality where they, if I wasn't
Yeah, right.
prepared, they overwhelm me. Probably the so in order to battle the each Elite Four member, first you have to find them and then do this little like trial thing in order to actually fight them.
Mhm.
One of them, the guy is a fire type trainer and he's this chef who his task was he wants you to make for him a super spicy sandwich, which I don't know how much you played of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but in Scarlet and Violet, there's this mechanic where you can set up picnics. You like create these
Mhm.
sandwiches that like, let certain Pokemon spawn. I never touched that mechanic. I never bothered.
Nope.
So So I didn't know what I was doing. So you have to do this little like fetch quest. You have to like talk to a bunch of like people in this area to like essentially like he said negotiate with his people. So like you start by battling one person to get one ingredient, and then give that ingredient to another person, and then so and then that ingredient will get you 3 ingredients from someone else, and then you go down the chain, eventually get everything you need. Then you got to put it together, and I didn't know how to do that. So what I first did was like, you had your sandwich bread in front of you, the the ingredients are up top, so I was like, oh, I just select it and it goes on the sandwich. I clicked on an onion and it just disappeared. I was like, oh, you got to drag and drop it on. Okay, so I drag and dropped it, but I didn't realize that once they got on the bun, they could still fall off.
Off the sandwich?
Yeah, so like.
On the ground?
Yeah, I get like onto the plate, and if it falls off the sandwich, it disappears. So the first time I did it, too much stuff fell off, and I lost the challenge. So I had to start the whole thing over. I had to do it like 4 times in order to get exactly right, because I kept dropping stuff.
When making the sandwich is harder than fighting the Elite Four.
Honestly, yeah. And my second, I should probably my favorite trial is the Dragon Elite Four member, who his trial was just beat his 3 like junior Shanners, or like beat his 3 goons or whatever. But the trick is you have to beat them using Pokemon exclusively caught in this arena, which I thought was very fun. So I caught 6 random Pokemon, like taught them moves, like set up a couple of cool combos, because it's a double battle, so I haven't really
right.
And yeah, I fought the 3 and it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Test your skills on the fly.
Like I so want Game Freak to continue doing stuff like this, where it's like after you beat the game, there's significant like extra random challenges you can do that we'll test you in certain specific ways. I really like that. And probably the most interesting thing about the DLC is there's this new mechanic where it's called synchronizing, where you become one with your Pokemon, and you essentially like are able to control your Pokemon to like walk around the region. Like as they're walking, they can pick up items for you. They can like do basic attacks on opponents. Like it seems kind of pointless. So I don't really know why they did it.
Because you can already just kind of have them go about anyway, right?
It's just like you, instead of throwing them out and hope they hit what you want them to hit, you specifically are controlling them. And I kind of wish they had like items you could only reach using these Pokemon, or certain tasks, or like obstacle courses. There's something that's around that you had to beat with this.
A reason for it to actually exist.
And as far as I can tell, there really wasn't any of that. However, I could very easily see this being like a beta test for something they're working on in the future.
Maybe the next game it'll be a much more integral feature.
Yeah, because Game Freak loves doing this thing where like they experiment with an idea in a previous game, then actually fully embrace it in the next game. So I'm very curious what that's gonna look like if it does come back. But yeah, I really enjoyed Scarlet and Violet. My number one complaint is the frame rate is still absolute trash. If you had any fears that would be fixed, nope, it did not get fixed. Not even this DLC. It is still running badly.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I remember
Yeah.
just going. It's like, oh, field of grass and just Pokemon's there, and it
Hmm.
gone,
Yeah.
gone forever.
Like
Don't know where he went.
you're running on your ride Pokemon and like the game's just chugging around you. Even in this like relatively
Mm-hmm.
smaller world, just cannot load everything on time.
Can't deal with it.
Like you're running and if you clicked on an NPC too fast, the world freezes for half a second and then they turn and talk to you. Like, yeah. Um, but it's still a lot of fun. If you can get past that, it's still a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
just felt like I still need to bring that up. They still after all this time did not fix that, and that is disappointing. But
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I might even bring that. That was a lot. That game was a lot of fun. I never
yeah.
actually finished. I finished up into like what I thought was the end of the main game, where
Mm.
you beat all the gems, and then your rival has the final battle.
Mm.
And then it was like, oh no, now you have to go back and fight everyone again. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Mm.
that like felt like DLC, even though it technically wasn't. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, Pokemon games have done stuff like that before, and I wish every game would do that, where you can battle like rebattle gym leaders and other
Mm-hmm.
trainers. And with this DLC, after you beat the main quest of the DLC, there's actually a thing where in the base game there's this like trainer. I think it's called the Ace Academy tournament, or you can fight significant trainers or even like teachers at the school or whatever like in this
Ooh.
tournament. And they had decently strong teams, but at that point you're like level 70s and you're well,
Mm-hmm.
you just destroy them. But after you beat the DLC, if you do that tournament again, they're all level 80s and have new cool teams. Like it's great.
Oh, they
Yeah.
got more upgrades.
Yes. And
Good.
even the champion, who I thought has potentially the most disappointing single team of any Pokemon trainer ever relative to their status in the game. Um, they even like upgraded her team to make it at least a little better. It's still not perfect, but it's still
Okay.
at least a little better. So that's
Still have the
that's good.
whatever Pokemon yours is like has the advantage over, right? Because that was
No, not the champion. She didn't have that.
good.
The Nimona, your rival, did.
Oh, the rival. I don't know. I got rival and champion
Yeah.
confused. Sorry.
No. Well, she's still called a champ or champion is more of a title.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The champion's the one with like the blonde, black, and like
Yeah.
colored hair, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like purple suit or blue suit,
Yeah,
black hair.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely looks like a super villain, but isn't.
Kinda. Yeah. um. Yeah. I am very curious what the next Pokemon game is going to be because um, they always announce something on Pokemon Day in February. Ooh.
Not sure.
So, probably get. I don't know what that's gonna be at all, especially considering the next Nintendo system might come out next year. I don't think they would make a game for the Switch 2 right away because that's not usually what they do. But who knows? Who knows? I just hope they take what worked with Scarlet and Violet, fix the frame rate issues, and make it good. So
Yeah.
yeah,
How much was the DLC?
I think it's 30.
Okay.
Yeah, but I got um, with the first half of the DLC. I think it took like 6 hours to beat, and this one was just kind of gunning through the main story like about 7 or 8 hours. So
Okay.
yeah, and there's still there. The second DLC specifically has a lot of stuff that I'm never gonna touch. A lot of stuff with the new academy that I don't care. I didn't really touch the academy stuff with the base game.
You're
Um,
not gonna take all the classes and mathematics
no,
and
no, it's fine. I don't need it. There are a couple of like mini games and other things I could do in this DLC that I'm not like. You could get as many hours as you want out of it. You can catch every Pokemon. You can do whatever. Like, as far as just like playing through the story, solid 15 hours collectively is pretty solid for
yeah, that's so
$30
good.
extra. Yeah,
Fair enough. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think that's everything I have. Anything else you thought of?
That's all good.
All right. With that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.